Do the Steelers regret moving on from Kenny Pickett? And who is most to blame for this current Steelers mess? Big Geek News. If you guys didn't know, Kenny Pickett started an NFL game this past weekend and actually played pretty good. Went 10 of 15 for 143 passing yards and a passing touchdown, and also had one through the ground. Even played pretty good the prior week against the Commanders when he had to fill in for Jalen Hurts getting injured. So you mean to tell me if you give a young, developing quarterback a competent coordinator, some good weapons, a solid offensive structure that's tailored toward their style and their game, it'll help them play better? You don't say. For example, look at Caleb Williams and Drake May this year versus a Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. And then if you want to talk about guys that have struggled in the past coming into the league, now have found new opportunities, new systems, new coordinators, look at a Sam Darnold. Look at a Tua, who went from Ryan Flores to Mike McDaniel, and Tua is now making Pro Bowls. I still don't think he's any good. It's all just inflated stats and just empty stats. But a Geno Smith, another good example of that as well. Coaching matters. Yeah, I think it's a fair statement to make. So no wonder why Pickett didn't really live up to his potential here in Pittsburgh. He had Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator. The structure wasn't there. Nothing was tailored towards helping him or the offense actually do anything positive, which is insane. It's literally the offensive coordinator and the whole offensive coaching staff's job to set up their players on offense for success, at least the best way possible. I get it. A play may not work out, or, the players might not execute it, but your job is literally to set them up for the best success possible. Try to put them at an advantage, whereas too many times over the last couple of years, the offense was put at a disadvantage because of Matt Canada and the coaching staff. Now, at the same time, Pickett did hurt his chances as well by literally getting hurt too frequently. Every time there'd be a glimpse of consistency with the offense or with Pickett's play, he would get hurt, which would stymie any momentum or any improvement that was taking place. And unfortunately for KP8, the same thing happened again in Kenny's first start in Philly last week. And it actually happened on a pretty dope play where Pickett improvised, got out of the pocket, and then threw a dime to A.J. Brown in the back of the end zone. Unfortunately, though, for KP, the play was called back due to penalty, and Micah Parsons delivered a pretty vicious hit on the quarterback, which knocked him out for the rest of the game. Then the Eagles' third-string quarterback, Tanner McKee, came in and dotted it up too, adding two passing touchdowns in his own right. So instead of potentially 4 touchdowns and a complete game for Pickett, you're still left scratching your head with questions of what could be with Kenny's game as opposed to what is, because I'm not going to front, Tanner McKee actually did look decent out there in that Eagles offense. But just like the end of last season with Mason Rudolph getting those last 4 starts, if Pickett was actually able to stay healthy, we wouldn't know what a Mason or a Tanner McKee or any of these backup quarterbacks look like behind Pickett in his place, because he would actually be out there. They wouldn't be given that opportunity, and I feel like Pickett's status as a player would be a little bit more solidified at this point, 3 years into his NFL career. But speaking of former Steelers quarterbacks, Week 17, did you guys see this? It had to have been a record for the most quarterbacks being connected to one team playing in a given week. You had Pickett with the Eagles, Mason Rudolph getting the start with the Titans, Mitch got some minutes at the end of the Bills-Jets game, and then Dobbs last night on Monday Night Football got in the fourth quarter after Brock Purdy injured his arm. So I don't know if this is the record. It feels like it would be in the mix for the record of ex-quarterbacks from a given team getting actual minutes on a given Sunday. 4? That seems like a lot. No? Because 5 would seem like too many. I don't know. Let me know if that's actually a thing or not. I don't know if anyone has looked up this record or if people were paying attention to it at all. But, yeah, that happened. The last thing to talk about for today's show, who is most to blame for this current Steelers mess? The easy answer is it's everyone. But, of course, George Pickens has been getting some heat recently. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Terrell Owens, Hall of Fame receiver, blamed the Russell Wilson pick on Pickens because supposedly Pickens ran the wrong route and didn't open up the coverage enough for Freiermuth, the intended target on the play. And I heard Burleson say the same thing. He gave an explanation on the broadcast and I thought it was kind of BS, because even if Pickens messed up the assignment, doesn't Russ still have the ball in his hand and can make the ultimate decision on where it goes? Like, you could see Freiermuth in double coverage. You don't have to throw it to him. Go to another option. And if anything, it seems like Pickens right now is the least of our worries. He brushed off T.O.'s comments by posting, I think, the most mature or team-focused Instagram story I've ever seen coming off of GP's account, by saying, back in the lab, here we go. Merry Christmas to everyone who's grateful. But the defensive side of the ball, I think it'd be fair to say that's a little bit different of a story. Apparently, someone's continually screwing up something, and it's clear and obvious from watching the games, the unit as a whole just ain't on the same page either. I don't know about you guys, but I truly don't care about these explanations. Like, what's that saying? What's the cliche? Actions speak louder than words. And we've been hearing these same excuses about communication, executing better. It's just this simple fix. We just got to do our jobs next week. We've been hearing this stuff way too frequently over the last 3 or 4 years. I'm over it. It's either it gets fixed or it doesn't. Like, the result is the result. Whether it is this simple miscommunication issue or this easy tweak that'll get taken care of next week. Just trust us, bro. Newsflash, that stuff's a part of the game. Communicating, preparing, being on the same page, scheming things up. It's literally a part of the game of football. Like, giving up 30-plus points on average over the last 3 games ain't it. No matter how you want to slice it, whether it's you're just getting beat in your one-on-ones or it's you not being on the same page with one of your teammates. It doesn't matter. 30-plus points on average over the last 3 games. Ain't it? Are the Chiefs having miscommunication issues? Are the Ravens having miscommunication issues? Eagles? Any of that? Like, I'm not hearing about this type of stuff with them. Or at least I haven't over the last 2-3 years on the consistent basis. It seems like we're hearing about it here in Pittsburgh. Maybe it's because we're that plugged in, but again, it just goes back to the results of the results then too. We haven't been as good of a team as those other 3 that I just mentioned. We haven't been on the same level. Why is that? Are we just not playing as good? Is it the coaching? Is it these miscommunication issues? Is it these simple tweaks? All right, at this point, I'm just tired of the Groundhog's Day effect. It seems like it's going on with this Steelers team. It's same shit, different year, no matter the coordinator, the defense, the quarterback, the coaching staff. Doesn't matter. It's just frustrating, man. At least that's how we're trending right now. The good part about it, the silver lining, is we do still have at least 2 games in this 2024 season. Week 18 in the regular season against the Bengals, and then obviously we locked up the playoffs a couple weeks ago. If you're in the dance, you got a chance. So, we have this opportunity ahead of us to turn things around, to right the ship, to make it seem like these last 3 games were a thing in the past, and that's not who we were. It was just a low point, and we are going to get things fixed. We'll see. We'll see. But that's it for this edition of Big Deke News on New Year's Eve. Have a good time on your last day of 2024 out there. Stay safe, and see you in 2025. Peace.